Recently, I heard a story on a BBC News report that stuck with me. It was about a doctor. He has a full-time job, he's a few years out of college, he works in a respected, stable profession, exactly the kind of career people are told will pay off in the long run. He has already paid back around $12,000 toward his education, yet today, his total student loan balance is still over $85,000. Every month, payments are taken directly from his paycheck, and somehow, despite doing everything right, the number keeps going up instead of down. This isn't a story about personal failure. It's a story about how the system works. What this video is really about. In the United States, student loans have become so common that many students see them as unavoidable. Borrowing money for college is treated as a normal part of growing up, almost a rite of passage. This is especially true for students from middle or low-income families, where paying for college out of pocket simply isn't an option. In this video, I want to clearly explain 3 things: what the student debt crisis actually looks like in real life, why even a successful career doesn't guarantee a debt-free future, and most importantly, what you can realistically do to avoid student loans, or at least reduce them, before you ever start college. Because once college begins, most of the biggest decisions have already been made. What the real problem is, the student debt crisis in America is often blamed on rising tuition costs. But tuition is only part of the story. The deeper issue is the funding model itself, a system that shifts financial risk almost entirely onto students. Today, more than 45 million Americans have student loan debt. Total student debt exceeds $1.8 trillion. The average graduate owes between $35,000 and $40,000. But the numbers alone don't tell the full story. Student loans in the U.S. are extremely difficult to erase through bankruptcy, can follow borrowers for 20 to 25 years or longer, directly affect credit scores, housing options, career flexibility, and overall financial freedom. And perhaps most concerning of all, these decisions are often made at 17 or 18 years old, before most people have any real experience managing money, debt, or long-term financial risk. A real example, a doctor who did everything right. Let's return to that doctor from the BBC report. This isn't someone who avoided responsibility. This isn't someone who dropped out or made reckless choices. He works full-time, he has a stable career, he makes his payments on time. Every month, about $300 is taken directly from his paycheck each month. That adds up to roughly $3,000 to $4,000 per year. And yet, his total balance barely moves. The reason is simple but painful: interest. Over time, interest quietly adds thousands of dollars to the loan. Even consistent payments struggle to keep up. Progress feels slow, almost invisible. What he said next was strikingly honest. He doesn't regret investing in his education. He's proud of becoming a doctor. He's willing to pay for what he gained. What's hardest to accept, he said, is realizing that he will likely pay far more than he ever borrowed. At that point, the debt stops feeling like a loan. It starts to feel like a long-term education tax. And this anxiety isn't unique to doctors. Almost every graduate in America with student loans feels it, whether they studied medicine, teaching, engineering, or business. Why this is a systemic problem, not a personal one. Stories like this break a powerful myth. If you get a good education and a stable career, everything will work out. In reality, even with full-time employment, even in respected professions, student debt can quietly follow people for decades. The problem isn't laziness or poor planning after graduation. It's interest combined with long repayment timelines. That's why the most important financial decisions about college have to be made before enrollment, not after graduation. Once you're already in school, the system offers very few real alternatives. The key question: when should students start planning to avoid debt? The honest answer is uncomfortable. 12 to 18 months before starting college. Most students in America only think seriously about money after they get accepted or once they're already enrolled. By then, options are limited, choices shrink, loans become the default. Early planning is not about being pessimistic. It's about keeping control, a practical plan, what to do, step by step. Step 1. FAFSA, at least 1 year before college. FAFSA is the foundation of financial aid in the United States. One of the biggest misunderstandings is believing that FAFSA automatically means loans. It doesn't. FAFSA can unlock Pell Grants, free money, up to around $7,000 per year, state-based grants, need-based aid from colleges and universities, access to work-study programs. FAFSA opens on October 1st each year. The earlier you apply, the more aid is typically available. Waiting can cost you thousands of dollars. Step 2. Choose a college after you see the financial aid offer. The smartest order looks like this. 1. Apply to multiple schools. 2. Receive financial aid offers. 3. Compare the real cost after grants and aid, not the sticker price. The same degree can mean zero debt at one school, $40,000 to $60,000 in debt at another. The difference isn't always prestige. It's financial structure. Step 3. Use community college as a strategy. 2 years at a community college, followed by a transfer to a university, can reduce total debt by 2 or even 3 times. Your final diploma still comes from the university, but the cost is dramatically lower. This isn't a backup plan. It's financial intelligence. Step 4. Work, study, and campus jobs. Through FAFSA, students may qualify for work-study programs, on-campus jobs, flexible schedules designed around classes. This is real income that helps cover expenses without adding to debt. These positions are limited, which is why early planning matters so much. Step 5. Loans. Only as a last resort. If loans are unavoidable, borrow the smallest amount possible. Avoid private loans whenever you can calculate the total debt after 4 years, not just 1 semester. Student loans should only be used intentionally, with a clear understanding of the long-term cost. Final takeaway. The student debt crisis in America isn't about students making bad choices. It's about students making life-changing decisions without fully understanding their alternatives. Education can be a powerful investment, or it can become 20 to 30 years of financial pressure. The difference between those two paths doesn't start in the classroom. It starts long before your first college class ever begins. And that's why conversations like this matter. Not to scare people, and not to tell anyone what decision to make, but to help things feel a little clearer before the pressure starts. If this resonated with you, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. I genuinely appreciate it more than you might realize. Your support makes it possible for these conversations to keep reaching the people who may need them at the right moment. The most expensive part of college isn't tuition. It's the decisions made before you truly understand the cost. Remember that the choices you make today can protect your freedom tomorrow.